Good morning from Düsseldorf. We are in the Cubic studios and I'm really happy you to welcome to the second edition of the Douglas Retail Media Summit. My name is Jonas Höhn and I have the pleasure to guide you through the exciting program today. But it's not only me. Next to my side, there is the charming host of this amazing event, Jessica Koch, as Vice President of New Business and Retail Media at Douglas. Jessica is responsible overall for the retail media business of the group, and she is the Managing Director of the Beauty Media Solutions GmbH. Before joining Douglas 4 years ago, she worked 11 years in the beauty industry in Germany and in Paris for L'Oréal in marketing, sales, and e-commerce. Jess, good to see you, good to have you on this stage. First of all, how are you? And why did you organize this second edition of the Retail Media Business Summit?
Well, good morning, and Jones, it's really nice to be back on stage with you 1 year after the first edition of the Douglas Retail Media Summit. How am I? Actually, pretty excited, pretty thrilled as well that the day has finally come that we have prepared since month now with the team. So, what is the why of this event? I need to spoil something that Daniel is going to come up with in his keynote, and that is that retail media is going to be bigger than TV by 2026. Can you imagine that? If this is not reason enough for that, we have brought some really deep insights and expertise that we have built on Douglas marketing solution side in the last 12 months. So the motto of today is really into the data. I can promise you we're not going to scratch on the surface. We're really going to go deep into this beautiful topic and the most trending media type of all.
Perfect. I'm sure that's not only me who is grateful that you organized this second Retail Media Summit, but also the audience at their screen. You have mentioned Daniel Knapp saying that retail media will be bigger than TV advertising in 2026. Where does this come from? What do you think? Why is that so?
Well, I think the relevancy occurs from two major events. One is the global pandemic that we have seen the last couple of years, which brought overall an enormous e-commerce shift and a shift towards digital. Then the point is, now we see a normalization of the e-commerce business throughout all industries. But then we are not even out of the crisis, and we stumbled into a new crisis, which is the overall economic crisis initiated by the war in the Ukraine, with all the problems that come with it, from inflation and pressure on P&Ls in general. So I do believe that even if e-commerce is now normalizing, the relevancy of retail media is even higher, because there is such a big desire in the market from advertisers to find something in the toolkit of a digital marketeer to drive efficiency and to have sort of a safe bet in a Bainy world. And what Bainy means, we're going to explain that in my keynote
later. You have
later.
a keynote, of course. It sounds like everyone seems to be falling in love with retail media. But for those in our audience who are quite not yet there, why should it be the day today to fall in love with retail media?
Well, I hope that the content of this day will help the audience to fall in love. That basically what we're trying to explain today is this triangle of user, brand, and retailer. And all of them have a win-win-win out of retail media. Why is that so? First of all, the user, which is always the most important one for us, will get personalized advertising, meaning that at some point in time, retail media is going to be so smart that it's personalized like a personalized recommendation engine. So if we take me as an example, I like to buy dresses, for example, in A shape most of the time. So some of the fashion retailers, they are so smart that if I surf and browse, I basically jump from product detail page to product detail page, and my basket is getting bigger and bigger. And it's because it's a personalized journey which is tailor-made to my taste and to my user preferences, and that makes me buy more. Then if we think about the brands, for the brands, as I said before, they nowadays where media budgets are being cut down. They need this safe bet, this level of reassurance in insurance maybe as well in their digital media mix, something which has a high efficiency. And then retailers, why do we do what we do? Yes, it's a new business model, but we don't do it just for the sake of having a new business model. Basically, for us, it benefits the e-commerce business. So you can imagine it as being a flywheel around the e-commerce flywheel. And they both are fruitful to one another. So for example, coming back to the example, I surf a lot, I click more if I get personalized advertising, and I buy more. And I come back more often. So all of that makes that the e-commerce business is going up. And then again, we gather more data, more signals from the user, and yeah, the circle goes around and around. And the last point that I found strategically very interesting is that in that relationship, the traditional relationship between brands and retailers, usually brands sell products to retailers, retailers sell to consumers. Now retail media networks bring in another component where we see us in a relationship, a direct but inverse relationship to the brands. So brands for us are clients, they are partners. And this brings a new perspective for the overall relationship.
Yeah, you've already mentioned, I think it's a perfect match to our final conclusion at our panel discussion last year, because there we said that retail media is not just bullshit, but in fact really hits the jackpot. So Jessica, take us a closer look at the industry. What has happened in the industry and at Douglas Marketing Solutions since our last summit?
So I'd like to sum it up very top line with a question. Last year, the question was, what is retail media and why should I invest in retail media? This year, the question that we are getting is, how much should I invest in retail media and in which channel should I allocate my money in? And I think this shows that the whole type, this new type of media is really rising a lot. It's been everywhere and all the digital fairs discussed a lot. So on industry side, I would say we started getting together as retail media networks, different verticals, start exchanging and thinking about how can we facilitate the booking for advertisers, because we are aware that to a certain point, it's getting complex, the portfolios that we are offering to our brands. So therefore, we need to harmonize, standardize formats, etc. So that's from the industry point of view, really streamlining and framing it. And then from Douglas Marketing Solution, what happened is that we have been internationalization a lot. So we rolled out to 9 countries now. And we also innovated into our advertising solutions portfolio more. So we developed, for example, CRM solutions and smart sampling, additional to the solutions that we had before.
Yeah, good to hear. And you have already mentioned the exciting development of retail media, and that is exactly the reason why we have expanded the program this year. So, dear viewers, you can expect 8 full hours of valuable content with more than 30 speakers. So, Jessica, take us into this. What does the agenda look like? What can the viewers expect today?
Yeah, so we do have 4 tracks prepared. The main track is retail media, of course. Then we have the Cookieless, how to navigate in the cookieless world. We have prepared the speed dating with the metaverse, coming to that one later, and the country specials. Now, zooming into the first track, we're going to start with an opening keynote from Daniel, the chief economist from the IAB, who's going to talk about how does the retail media landscape look like in Europe. Then I'm going to jump into my keynote where I'm going to explain my personal point of view, why retail media matters even more in a Bainy world, and what Bainy means. You will learn it in the keynote.
Word, yeah.
A new word, yeah, exactly. And then we're going to have a very cool panel discussion with, on the one hand, retail media networks, on the other hand, agencies, and we're going to fight a little bit about the question whether retail media networks are not the agencies 2.0. So let's see what the answer is then. And then we're going to have, throughout the afternoon, 3 masterclasses circling around different solutions out of our portfolio. So this is, on the one hand, the theoretical part, where we really going to understand the, let's say, the machine room behind it, the algorithm, how does it really work, what are the KPIs that we can optimize to, etc. And this one, we're not going to present just the pure theory, no. We do have it co-hosted with our partners from the industry. So we will have Shiseido and Coty who's going to co-present this. So it's going to be really concrete and precise. And then jumping into the next track, the Cookieless. So there we have two very snackable 15 minutes inspo speeches who are going to explain what is the Cookieless. So for those who say, okay, I heard it quite often, but I don't quite get it, please join the 15 minutes that Uwe is doing. And then Achim is going to develop that further into the perspective of where can we drive that if the third-party cookie is dying. What is the alternative then? And then we're going to have, again, a panel, which this one is in German, and it's with many experts. And so for the international audience, they can have a break during that time. And the idea here is to discuss the question, is there an ultimate playbook in a cookieless world, and are we there yet?
That's a lot of valuable content and exciting content. You are quite busy today, jumping in all these sessions. And dear viewers, as you can see, this year we have an international flavor regards to last year. But, and that's really important, I think you've also come up with something special for the local market. So in other words, for all the German, Italian, French, Dutch viewers. So could you explain what is this about, this special country?
Yes, special country specials.
Oh, no,
exactly.
Yeah, that's correct.
So basically, I thought, well, if there are some people in the audience who are watching and say, okay, I'm a beginner, but I really want to understand it from the scratch. And for me, it's really easier to do it in my local language. Because when I learned how retail media works 2 years ago, I found it very helpful that someone had explained it to me in German. So this is why we came up with these 5 country specials for France, for Italy, for Benelux, for DACH, and for Poland. And my girls out of the countries, the business development manager, are going to explain everything, the local offering in local language. You're also going to have the opportunity to ask all the questions that you want in the chat. And we also have it co-hosted with one concrete case and best practice from that country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. So either you are following the panel discussion with Daniel Knapp, or you are going to watch the country specials with local manager. More information to this later on. But Jessica, one more question to this agenda, because in my briefing I read something about a metaverse. And what is about this? How do metaverse and retail media come together?
Well, that's a good question, Jones. Well spotted.
Hopefully you will answer it.
So you might have seen that I'm a metaverse enthusiast and Web3 explorer myself. So I couldn't help myself putting that one on the agenda. Why? Because basically I'm convinced that the metaverse is holding endless opportunities for storytelling, for content marketing, for conquering new social media channels. It is already happening. Like Roblox, a gaming platform, is already a social media channel for the 13-year-old children, right? So even if we are still early, we know that. So the metaverse is at the state of the internet in the year 1992. I was wondering if you would have known in 1992 where the internet is going to evolve. Maybe you would be a millionaire right now and not standing right next to me. I don't know.
But I'm really great to stand here.
Yeah. so we're coming up with this session to give a holistic overview of where this topic can go. So we have 3 speed dates prepared. So the first 15 minutes is Diego Borger, one of my favorite metaverse evangelists and the creator of the Web3 strategy for Adidas. Then we're going to have a guided tour on Decentraland, and we can discover together how does programmatic advertising already work nowadays with Martin. And then, last but not least, Roxanne is going to do an exciting presentation about the Web3 strategy from the Shiseido Group and how they catch Gen Z and Gen Alpha in Web3.
Perfect. Okay, so before we just start with our first keynote, I think there's one topic left, because last year we had a really great contest. So what is about this year, and what do the people need to do for this contest?
Yeah, you have a good memory, Jones. Yes, of course, we prepared another contest this year as well. So you can win a 10,000 euro retail media campaign. The only thing that you need to do is stay with us, be attentive, and you can answer 4 questions that are popped into the chat, one after my keynote, and the other 3 ones after the masterclasses on the main stage. All the information about that contest is also on the platform. If you go out of the mainstream, you will see all information. So I cross fingers for you that some of you is the lucky winner.
Perfect. Jess, I think that's probably enough for now, for the welcome, for the introduction. After all, we've got 8 full of hours of valuable content. So I hope that everyone at home or in the office is as excited as I am. So thank you very much for your words. Of course, we will see you back on this stage and on the other stage you have already mentioned.